Hi you guys, welcome. I'm so happy to be back doing a video again. It's been a long time and thank you so much for your patience. I've been moving through a really deep cleanse, taking the form of a heavy flu followed by an infection. So I'm really happy to finally start going again. I'm not 100%, so if my voice suddenly disappears, I will just stop the video and I will put it out anyways and continue on the topic in a video as soon as I can, because I think it's good to get this information out now. How are you all doing? How has this time been for you? How are you now? I would love to see in the comments. I really appreciate everyone commenting, and I love reading all of your comments. So what I want to focus on in this video, because there's so much I would love to talk about right now, but what I would love to focus on is two topics that are in the forefront of 2023. Now, on the calendar year, we have been moving into 2023. Energetically, we started a bit before we moved into the new year on the calendar. In the physical, the way it will feel, it will look as if it's around March. A lot of changes will start then, and then we will see externally. Everything, of course, coming from the shifts within, because as we shift our own frequency, there will be changes seen. It will create a difference also in our external experience. So the main topics are empowerment and responsibility. Now, if we look at the time from 2020 and what we've been moving through up to this point, we've been moving through, well, a lot of different things, but one of the main frequencies that we have had to really look in the eyes, that we have really needed to look deep within ourselves to see where does this come from, how does this frequency get a control on me, what does it do with my reaction, with my thought patterns, where are the beliefs that has to do with this frequency of fear. So as we have been moving through so many challenges where we've had to face our fears, we are in a different place energetically in our frequency that has gotten us to this point that we are now. The point we are at now is that we need to take a deeper responsibility for our own lives, for our own creations. We will really clearly this year be faced with any place where we don't take full responsibility. And this is not to say responsibility in a bad sense. Look at your connotations, your associations with the word responsibility and accountability. Because if that is something that you in your life have experienced as something negative or as something forceful, or you have some bad experiences with it, we need to sort of weed that out, because this is about being a responsible creator, because we're going to create a different life, we're going to create a different society, we're going to create a whole new experience on earth. Now this starts within, as we know, and I've been talking about that several times in other videos. But where we're at now, it's really important to look at in any challenge that comes up, in any triggered situation, in any invitation to something. Look at how can I take responsibility in this situation? Where am I maybe afraid to take responsibility in this situation? What is keeping me from being or holding myself accountable or fully responsible for the situation? Because we create what we are in. And when we take responsibility for it and we make ourselves accountable, we also gain the empowerment to do something with it. Okay, so where do I begin? For example, with empowerment, if I'm sitting and I'm complaining and blaming anyone in my life or what's going on, in the structures in society, I'm not really creating a change. If I take responsibility for my creations and I move into my power, I can rather be the solution. I can be the answer. I can be the part of the creation of the new, rather than only sitting and blaming and pointing fingers at what's wrong. When we are ready to take a deeper responsibility, to then move into deeper empowerment, deeper embodiment, there will be several things changing in the society, which is one of the reasons why one of the things we will be seeing through this year is a change in power structures. But as you hopefully got from what I just said, that starts from within. So anything, any sort of misunderstanding, any belief, any illusion in ourselves will be highlighted. Can this mean that health challenges can be experienced as worse? Yes. Can it mean that things can sort of apparently miraculously disappear or change for the better? Yes. It's all about coming back in and really, they're starting showing me things as I'm talking. That's why I'm trying to look at that at the same time. Let me just see. Yeah, what they're showing me is to be aware of wherever you're giving your power away. You're giving your power away when you're blaming. You're giving your power away when you're complaining about things. When we are in fear and we don't dare to take active or to be active or take action in creating something new or being the solution of making changes in our lives, those things are what we need to face this year. These things, like when these misunderstandings are really being highlighted, it can feel challenging and it will feel amazing when we overcome it. And we have overcome so much. We are ready now to really get into this on a deeper level. They are showing me 3 sort of waves this year. They're showing me that people will move through this in 3 main waves, sort of the same energy. And for sure, I can say that some of what I've been experiencing and moving through these weeks, almost a month, has really highlighted some patterns in me that stems from way back, and how that, even though these are things that I've been aware of before, I've seen it in a whole new light. It's just like the epiphanies and the light bulbs are just like coming on again and again after some time. And the only way to change these things are taking responsibility and being empowered, not being the victim of it. These insights are inviting me to change. It's inviting me to change the way I interact in my life with people. Not going in those same patterns, those same behaviors, those same reactions in certain areas. Because as I've seen these things, it really can't be unseen. it doesn't necessarily have to be easy what we have to move through, but it will be really rewarded. We will easily see the change coming from it. One of the things that I've been shown several times that has to do with this as well is the energy of putting someone on a pedestal. And that is something that we've seen a lot in the spiritual community for a long time. And when we are putting someone up on a pedestal, we are really feeding them our energy to be up there. It's us putting them up there. What we might see this year as well, at least I would not be surprised if we see people that has been sort of leaders, even in the spiritual community, that we will see another side of, or that will sort of fall off that pedestal. That can create even identity crisis for people that has been feeding them energy. And this is not about the right and wrong or, again, the blaming. It is about really coming back to, because the lesson in those experiences are to come back, to see that I need to find the power within me. It's redirecting my focus to looking at someone and giving them all my power, giving them all my energy, believing every word I say, and redirecting it into me. It's not about distrusting everyone. So I'm not saying this to create fear, okay? It's not about creating distrust or fear. It's about trusting ourselves. It's about taking information from the outside and reflecting upon it, feeling into it. Does this resonate? Yes, it does. Well, I go with it. I take this as my truth. I go on with it. But that is a responsible choice. That's being accountable for your beliefs, for what you create, and that is okay. We might make mistakes, but then we're learning from them. Because there's so much shaming that has gotten the control over us. From we were children, for example, anything like being shamed for making mistakes, for example, or being shamed, ridiculed, or faced with fear in order to gain control. Now we're going to look at control both from what we see in the external, as we have been for a couple of years, but we will also really, on a deeper level, again, really like all the misunderstandings in our own system, where we control ourselves, where we disempower ourselves, where we don't take responsibility, where we don't make ourselves accountable, where we give away our power. Those things will be really highlighted. That may look as something physical coming up in the body. That may look as like a situation in your life radically changing, that will be very challenging. It can also look like when we then take responsibility and we become more empowered, when we are accountable, that things can shift really quickly. Because the old structures are not like really tight and fastened anymore. They are more loose. So when we change the frequency, we can have the ripple effects. It's like a domino, and things can shift rapidly. Now these changes and shifts within us will create changes in power structures in the society. And the way it looks now is like it will be pretty different when we are heading into 2024 than what it is now. Yes, I will not go more into that specifically in this video. But that will be the result. So the more we focus back on this, and we, in any challenge or situation that comes up in our life, any invitation into something, look at the relation it has with responsibility and empowerment. What are you giving your power to? Whether that is, entities, whether it is authorities, whether it is an illness, whether it is a person in your life, whether it is the weather, whether it's, whatever. What are you giving your power away? Where all the areas in our lives where we are giving our power away will be very visible. It will be shown to us, so that we have the opportunity to take our power back, to take the responsibility and become more active creators. Being responsible for letting go of something, being responsible of committing to something. There's so many layers to this. Also, taking the responsibility of seeking out inspiration in our lives. We can do that instead of being the victim and sitting, saying there's no inspiration around me. For example, there can be hundreds of examples of this. How empowering is it to know that you're responsible of your life and that you can take more and more responsibility and therefore create more and more of the life that you want? When we become active creators in our life is when we choose to actively take on that responsibility. And the more we come into our own power, the more it will create that shift externally in the society as well. Let me just tune in because they are starting talking. Yeah, it looks like there's like doors opening in several directions, and moving through the door, if that's what you feel guided to, what you intuitively feel like moving towards, that might you might then need to overcome some obstacles that you put in front of you that has to do with empowerment and responsibility. So it looks like mainly two choices, right? I have an invitation in front of me, there's a door opening. I can sit back and I can be in fear of what it will ask of me to actually move through that door. And I can choose not to take action. I can choose to sit in what I'm in, and maybe there will be another door opening at some point. If I take the choice of moving towards that door and moving through that door, I am going to be asked to step deeper into my own power. I'm going to be asked and I'm going to face, and that might look challenging because I need to face whatever aspect in me, in my belief systems, in my thoughts, any emotional reaction, any patterns I have in any form of not being responsible in my own life, for my own creations, where I give my power away. All of that will be highlighted. So when you meet this in your life, journeying through this new year that we're finding ourselves in, take a look at those words. Take a look at what is what aspect of this situation that I'm finding myself in has to do with empowerment, has to do with responsibility and accountability. Because in asking those questions, you will find where you are ready to grow, where you're ready to take the next step, where you are ready to actually overcome an old pattern and moving so much closer to the life that you want to create, because you're aligning yourself with being the solution, with being the new, to be that creation that is then going to be shown also in the external, because we can't have those old structures when we are in another frequency. The more people are in a different frequency, it will change. Now they're showing me, as I'm saying this as well, that some of the openings, because it looks like there's a lot of changes in the structures as to where people are living, as to what jobs they have, because the energy will start moving differently as we move into our own power more and more. When we take full responsibility, there might be different choices that we're making. Well, wrong to say it might. Most certainly we will be making different choices in areas of our lives, because we won't be limited by our own fears or by thought patterns or belief systems of all those limitations that we have been in. And so as we what they're showing me is that there will be, especially when it comes to work situations and jobs, there will be a lot of people that will start working. It will be different than what many expect, because many expect that it will be, and there will be, don't get me wrong, a lot of people creating completely new things, starting up, a lot of entrepreneurs, people coming together, creating new systems, creating new ways of working, all of that will happen, certainly, no doubt. There will also be jobs opening in the existing systems, in the institutions, in the structures of society that we maybe these last years, more so than before, have been a bit in opposition to. Now, as the energy we hold around these things, and we're coming more into our power, we are blaming and complaining less because we're taking more responsibility, and we're shifting that frequency, and there might be jobs opening that we actually then will be able to come into. Why? Because we don't have that energy in fighting it. So we can actually come into, we will see more of way showers, whatever label you want to put on us, going into those kind of jobs, holding a whole different frequency that will start rippling. That will also start shifting the structures and the way the light moves within all those structures that are existing in the society. So besides the new systems and new creations being born and starting, we also will see some people that we would not think at all would start to work in some old structure or institution that might do so. This is not because they're going into it, but it's because there will be created. The way they show it to me is like there's like small pockets that are opening for the light to enter in those structures. And so when we're then at a place frequency-wise where we can actually move in there without being in resistance and in opposition and in fighting something, we can actually go in there and we can start making ripples with a whole different frequency. So there will be both new things being born and things shifting from the inside. Everything we have been moving through the last 2-3 years have gotten us to where we are at now, where we're ready to really go deeper into taking responsibility and moving into our own power. I think I will stop here. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Please let me know in the comments. I also will thank everyone for liking, sharing, subscribing. It really helps the channel. It helps the message to come out. I'm really looking forward to get some more videos out, hopefully pretty soon. And I would love to hear how your journeys are going. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you soon. Sending you all lots of love. Bye bye.